show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Kryptonite Show. Your host Superman in the house. We've got a great lineup of news, particularly today around Pulsechain, but we've also got some big news for the crypto markets and Ethereum with Bitmine immersion. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Also a little bit of Strive to throw it in the mix. A lot of cool things happening while we're in these volatile times. Obviously we've got the Iran war pulling down the markets with the oil at the moment, but generally things looking pretty good with that, I think, and probably still on track for probably 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that. So I think we'll be 4 weeks into the war, something like that. We're going to get into it though. The markets are still depressed though, and man, the tech stocks right now, particularly the AI stocks, man, discounted on the PE ratios. Massive entries in for some of these top tech stocks right now. What's it, about 30% or so retraced on some of them. So some huge opportunities there too. So, stock market offering up some pretty awesome stuff for those willing to brave it. So awesome stuff. We're going to get into the stock market first of all and see how we're getting on. Obviously got Easter coming up, Easter weekend. And let's get into that. We've got 555 in the house. Good to see you, DG Hexkin. Welcome to the chat also. Very cool to see you in here. And of course, if you guys are watching, don't forget to subscribe. We're streaming on 3 YouTube channels, the Kryptonite Show, Pulsechain X, and Superman Crypto, also on the X platform as well. So 4 different platforms. Make sure you subscribe and hit the follow on the way in. Share the channels around as well. It helps a lot. The largest Pulsechain influencer doing daily shows. Yeah, definitely appreciate the support if you love Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulsechain. We'll be covering a few other things like X1 chain, Solana, so EVM and SVM chains. It's going to be pretty good. We're good talking about X1. We got the old SHIB token moved up. Had quite a few buys last night on the old X1, so that was kind of cool to see. And that is just sitting there looking pretty nicely. Was that number 5 LP position yesterday, now number 6, but looking really good. So people are starting to take attention there. It's going to be around for a long time. That's all I can say about that. So if you're on X1, SHIB. It is sitting there in the top leaderboard. And in these current bear markets, what a great time to scoop. So awesome stuff there. Once again, not financial advice, do your own due diligence, all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's get into the stock market. We've got Craig here though first. Morning all, good to see you, Craig. Welcome to the chat. Always a pleasure to see the regulars in the house. If you're on X, don't forget to hit the repost button as well. Let's get into the stock market and see how we got on for Monday. So let's see how we did there. Hey, where's my little ticker there? Looking for the ticker there. Now we got stocks end largely lower as the title there. Dow ekes out gain to exit correction territory. There we go. So we've got the Dow actually up slightly, 0.1%, 50 points to 45,216. We've got S&P 500 down 0.4%, 25 points to 6,347. And NASDAQ at the moment is down 0.73%, 153 points to 20,792. So pretty crazy stuff there. Let's have a look at the last 6 months chart. This is the Dow Jones. You can see it kind of ramped up all the way from October last year. It was at actually higher than where we are now, and ramped up, boom, all the way up to almost over 50,000. Look at that, and it is down. So it's down about 5,000 points. Is that right? Yeah, 5,000 points lower here. So nice discounts, particularly as I said earlier in the tech stock. So it might be worth looking around for some of those, and maybe the DCA period starts to be taking place. President Trump says that negotiations are going well. Obviously, some of the voices out of Iran's IRGC say, what negotiations? What's going on? You got a lot of this going on, so no one knows really what's going on. It's pretty much going in the Americans' favor at the moment, dealing with the third level of the regime now from the looks of it. S&P 500 is ticking away there. We can see over the last 6 months, we were started off at about 6,700. We topped out, around about almost 7,000, and now we're at 63.40. So we're down about 650 points down here at the moment. So some opportunities in the house for that. Let's have a look here. The Nasdaq, of course, over the last 6 months, you can see we started off at around about 22,600, got up to a peak in October last year, 23,600, and now we're at 20,800. So what we're down about, 1,800 points or something like that. Is it 2,000, 3,000, 2,700, something like that. And we're down at the moment. So some really good pickings there, as I think there's been an overreaction. Now, obviously, some of the implications of a longer oil issue is to do inflation and maybe a bit of GDP, but not. I don't think for Americans. Americans going to do pretty well, and we already see some of the wartime companies doing pretty well, and also because America's an exporter, they are actually transporting oil. We saw a deal being done with the Australians around a couple of oil tankers. So America's okay. It's the rest of the world that's got the issues with the Strait of Hormuz, essentially. So that's kind of where we are right now. Exciting time, says Brian. Good to see you, Brian. Good. Welcome to the chat. Exciting indeed. So we've got the S&P 500. The volatility index is sitting at 30.6. So we're definitely up in that correction era, right up at 30. But it is down 1.4% today. US dollar is over 100. Finally made it back over 100, 100.287. Remember, though, when Trump came into power, the US dollar was at 108. Remember that? 20th of January. And so now here we are at 100.3. So still not even 8 points below where Trump came in, but it is elevated for sure. We're sitting around about 97, 98, I think, from memory. Now moving to commodities, West Texas at the moment, $105. So obviously oil elevated still. That's causing a lot of pressure on the stock market, up 2%. Brent oil there at the moment, $108, $109 as well. So we've got both of the US oil points there over $100. Remember, there are other oil prices around the world, and they'll be much more elevated than this. So there we got gold at the moment is sitting at 4,600. It's only up about $10, $8 up a fraction today. Silver there sitting at $70.50, and so they've just slight recovery there with the old gold. Let's have a look at the last month for gold. You can sort of see that chart, just a little bit of bounce off the bottom. Recently got down to 4,300. So it's up a couple $100 in there. And silver as well got down to $64. That's up about $6 from that recent low over the last month. All right, that's pretty much it at the moment. Just having a look at a few of the commentaries. After an utterly brutal week for markets, which saw the S&P 500 retreat to levels seen last September, this is most likely a bounce higher led by algorithms and computerized trading programmed to buy the dip, as absolutely nothing has improved with the war, the Fed, or the U.S. economy in any way whatsoever since Friday close. So that was from a Longbow Asset Manager. You got to be careful with some of these things, because whenever you get like a Democrat commentating, you got to try and take the bias out of it and just pull out the actually objective truth. So you got to do that too. Bruising weeks sees Nasdaq. Obviously, we're down here. Now, obviously, Trump there talking about negotiations going well. Now, obviously, we know art of the deal is the way Trump does things. And typically what happens is that obviously we're dealing with a big issue here with nuclear terrorists in Iran, and it had to be dealt with. It's decades ago it should be dealt with, but it's finally Trump's doing the tough work. Now, I suspect that it's going to take anywhere between 6 weeks and 8 weeks. I think we're just over 4 weeks now. So that's kind of the zone that we will feel the pain, but the recovery should be truly glorious, with a few exceptions around possibly some of the oil players. We'll see how that goes. When I say all players, all countries that have done net zero and the leftist policies, which leave them vulnerable as always, and are expensive to actually put in place. So let's be frank, in most places. So yeah, let's see how we go in there. So the broader market's on their way to a full-blown correction, or a 10% drop from the index most recent high. There may be more downside ahead in the very short term. I believe the stock market correction will be shorter in duration than most expect. Stocks often price in gloomy scenarios during corrections that often don't materialize. And that's the thing, you create this array of bearish scenarios, and then you wait to find out what actually happens, which one's real. Are any of those real? Is it just a short-term dip and the market's able to recover pretty quickly, get things back on track, and then it's boom time after that, right? A big rally after that. So we'll keep a lookout for that. The reset expectations and creates a lower bar for stocks clear. We acknowledge that there may be more war and pain in the Middle East, but that doesn't mean stocks will continue to follow the trend. Stock market is forward-looking and will eventually return its focus to fundamentals and earnings. So think about that. It's going to shift back to the cheap PE ratios for a lot of the tech companies, the AI theme, of course, and all that $20 trillion plus of investment. It's all going to be pretty glorious on the other side. So I'm feeling pretty bullish about where that's headed once we're through this, addressing with this big geopolitical issue. Valuations in stocks have not been this attractive in 6 months, creating a rare buying opportunity for those with cash on the sidelines. This can be an entry point for investors looking to be opportunistic after multi-year run in equity markets. So you're going all the way back and getting a discounted price, great for your retirement, things like that. That's kind of the idea. Now, obviously, this is going to feed into the Fed and the interest rate cycle, but Powell's about to leave soon in June, but we've still got a few months of him. Fed Chair Powell was in focus on Monday, and of course he was, he said a wait and see approach, typical of what he's trying to do all the time. It's always wait and see. Inflation expectations do appear to be well anchored beyond the short term. Powell sees inflation outlook in check, so no need to hike rates because of oil shock. I am not as sanguine. We are 5 years in on post-pandemic inflation, with pre-crisis price data coming in hot for the PCE. So he's obviously into a hawkish approach, and so we're going to have to see what happens with the new Fed when it comes in by July, right? What else we got going? The White House there has said they're in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end their military operations. Obviously, a lot of people that love freedom, and I'm not talking about progressives on the left because they hate freedom, right? They're authoritarians by nature. We want the Persian people to be free once and for all from this extreme Islamic Ayatollah rule, which is also wreaking havoc in the Middle East and around the world because they want, obviously, world domination, right? That was their ultimate goal. And they were doing a lot of things successfully, unfortunately, in that regard, but have really been put on the back foot now with the Americans and the Israelis. So it's pretty good. They obviously said there's been great progress has been made, but if for any reason the deal is not shortly reached, which will probably be, and if this Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all the electric plants. Now, ideally, Trump doesn't want to blow up those plants, obviously, because he wants the Persian people to take over a modern, prosperous country and get rid of the extreme Ayatollah. So this here for me is kind of a bluff at the moment. It's not saying that he wouldn't do it under circumstances, but it would actually be counterproductive because it would be all the people would be in the dark. You can imagine the ramifications for hospitals, etc. So I really don't see that as a big deal. Remember, it's a big country, 90 million people. It'd be unlikely there, but it's worth the bluff, right? Worth the bluff. Partial bluff, maybe at the end of the day. Oil wells, of course, in Carg Island, they could obviously be taken over. That seems pretty realistic to me, right? So you basically just turn the oil tank off, and that'd be the best way to go. And possibly all desalination plants as well. Like I said, don't really see that happening as well around the water, but I do see the Carg Island being a very real possibility. That makes a lot of strategic sense in the battle there, which we have purposely not yet touched. So out of these other things, I don't see that really happening, but the Carg Island definitely, there's another island there too that they could potentially take over and basically just turn the tap off of the oil. That seems like the smart play. Iran has largely denied that direct talks with Washington, of course. State media obviously doing the propaganda side of things. They are doing lots of funny things in Iran, like going around in four-wheel drives with the music on, pretending that they're bigger than they are, but they're actually panicking because a lot of their offices are being taken out. There is a resistance movement in Iran as well that's taking a lot of people out in the streets and coordinating, no doubt, with Mossad and the Israelis, etc. So it's pretty scary when you're a leader there. It doesn't matter what level you are, because you are under the gun. You just don't know whether you're the unlucky one. So there's a lot of stuff happening in that front within Iran. Like I say, it's not a simple Americans, Israelis versus Iran where the army can try and play, survive with land wars. it's actually they're against their 80-90% of the people as well. So it's a different context than we've seen in, say, Afghanistan, Iran, right? So even though a lot of those places are quite tribal. So that is some interesting stuff for the future that we'll keep looking at as well. Now, even after a deal is done, we could still see civil war start to brew as weapons and things like that come through for the resistance. So that's something that might be post any deal that Americans do. So there's a lot of sort of things we're going to see in the future there. Have we got True DeFi in the house? Good morning, Superman. Hey, good to see you, True DeFi. Welcome to the chat. We've got Duke for Booze as well. Cheers, everybody. Chin chin. Yeah, chin chin for sure. So that's some of the things we've got going there on at the moment. We have had a few casualties in the United States. Obviously, those 6 unfortunately got taken out, and we've had 12 US troops injured in an Iranian attack as well. One thing that people don't realize is that the Americans are applying new technology on the battlefield for the first time, and that is a integrated command center that is virtually AI driven. And so that means instead of taking minutes to respond, which is often too late for a drone, and particularly over a short airspace, that only takes a couple of seconds now. That's why the Americans have been able to do so well. And this is a game changer. This is really futuristic warfare at play, just like we've seen in Ukraine with drone development and other little tricky devices. We've seen the Americans run this new AI thing. It really is battle of the future. And so a lot of and also with new countermeasures as well, very cheap drone countermeasures and stuff like that have been used to take out a lot of the Iranian air power. Therefore, it's made a lot of Iranian stuff very in the military very unsettled, because a lot of stuff they put up just gets taken down, and for cheap value as well. We've also seen some laser technology as well used. So welcome to the future, guys. It's just the beginning, because we know in the next few years there's going to be a lot of robotic humanoids fighting these future battles. And so welcome to Terminator. It's funny how all the movies come true, isn't it? or is it funny? Is it really funny? Is it invented or discovered? Some of those sort of ideas. Invented or discovered. Anyway, so we got a lot of cool things happening there in terms of technology. Obviously, the application's not so cool. Obviously, human life is very valuable, but unfortunately, when you get people wanting to wipe out other people, then you've got to defend yourself, right? And sometimes that means going on the offense. All right. In this case, taking away nuclear bombs from terrorists. That's pretty much it. All right. So that's where we are with the stock market and some of the geopolitical impacts there. Let's jump over to the crypto markets and have a look at where we are on response to conditions. Well, it's not too bad. We're actually up 0.8% today, so I'm glad to report that things are a bit more green. We'll give that a clap, then. Yeah. So we got the total crypto market cap at 2.389 trillion. Super small market cap. I keep reiterating that because it is small, guys. In the world markets of hundreds of trillions of dollars, it's a very small market cap, right? So we've got a lot of upside happening here, because we're going to get the old monetary system under the leadership of the White House moving over to the blockchain, and we're already seeing that happen even before the final big piece of legislation with the Clarity Act. So it is going to be exciting, guys. We are obviously got geopolitics playing out, the oil system and things like that happening. But actually, it's going to be truly glorious when it kicks in, guys. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And now it's just a dream opportunity to DCA and pick up, these awesome volumes at the moment. Bitcoin at the moment, 67,000, up 1.3%. We got Ethereum there up 1.8% at 2,033. And I must say that Ethereum's been rather robust. Obviously, we've had quite a bit of buying still from Bitmine Immersion, which we're going to talk about. Strategy, not so much this week, obviously being impacted by the war, which is interesting. That in itself, not printing, I don't think there's been even common stock print this week. So compared to last week, where it was about 1,000, and the stretch product hasn't reached $100, I should say, and gone to the ATM printing. So to buy more Bitcoin there, that's been pretty interesting. So, but probably just a short-term issue once we return back to normal conditions, which is probably the key insight there. Ethereum there, holding up pretty well over 2,000. BNB up 0.2% at $610. XRP down 0.5% at $1.32. Number 7, Solana up 1.1%, $82.60. Tron there down 0.5% at just below 32 cents. We've got Figure Halleck up slightly, 0.6% at $1.01, and Doge there Number 10 is flat at 9.1 cents. So those are the top 10. Best performer is Ethereum today, guys, followed by Bitcoin and then Solana. So Ethereum there looking pretty good for the day. For the week, though, is still Tron to take the reward at 4.3% up, looking almost solid there at 32 cents. Top performer in the top 100, we've got Meancore up 30%, Bittensa Tau up 6.7%, a Tron up 4.3%, Ondo up 3.6%. It's a little bit of a Star Wars name, isn't it, Ondo? Leo Token there up 3.3%. So not a great week for the top 100, except for Meancore up 30.4%. So there we go. Those are top 100. Top 1,000, we've got ArcBlock, Kita, and River. They seem to be doing pretty well, up around 20-30%. And then trending overall, we've got Punji Penguins, Hyperliquid, and Based doing pretty well there on the trending. So that's the market today. So we've got a slight green day. So that's not too bad compared to the stock market. Obviously, the Dow did okay. It was up 0.1%. But it's a bit of a flat day here on the Monday. Kind of cool. And we're leading into Easter this weekend, right? So Easter's coming up. Right, let's get to the Bitcoin charts itself. We can see that the 50-day moving average is at $71,024. The 200-day moving average is at $85,098. And at the moment, we've got Bitcoin just above the bottom of the range at $67,192 right now. So just to get back to that 50-day moving average is another, 5.6%. We already had Tom DeMark's touch of the 60K mark, or sorry, not the Tom DeMark's one. I don't remember what his mark was for Bitcoin, but we already hit kind of the power law price of 60K down here on the 6th of February. And it's always possible we could hit it again, especially under the current conditions. But we seem to be holding pretty well in this range. We tried to have a breakout here, but of course the war in Iran pulling us back down. But I guess we've had 62,800 kind of as a floor, and maybe around around 72,600 trying to hold us at the top of the support with a brief breakout. So let's see how we can do another test of that 50-day moving average. That is where we are now. Now, we did have some news around that's bullish for Bitcoin, and that is Strive. Strive there, kind of a second layer protocol, really, or third layer protocol. If you had Bitcoin, then you have, Strategy or MSDR, and you got Strive above that. It's kind of like third level protocol. And then we've got Strive filed a registered statement with the SEC for the T-Strive digital credit ETF. So that was seen as pretty bullish news as well. And so we're going to keep, following that in detail. So lots of cool things happening, guys, while this, the war's on here, so to speak. I kind of say war on, but it's not like World War II or something. Oh, my sons and daughters are out on the battlefield. Well, sons in any case, but it'll be daughters too, right, in the future. My sons and daughters on the front line. I don't know about that, but that's where we are. That's where we are there. All right, so that is some of the bullish news around Bitcoin. Didn't have any. I don't think there was any purchasing for Strategy today. Normally disclosures today. Last week was about 1,000. No stretch. I don't think there was any stretch disclosure either. Obviously, the war keeping the stretch product below $100. It got very close, and it was, I think it's $9.98. Sorry, $99.98 right now. So we might get some money printing tonight if the market holds flat. Then it's a good chance we've got to have some stretch shares being issued. That raises capital and then buys Bitcoin. So we'll keep a lookout for that tonight. Very good chance of that, given how flat kind of the markets are today. We'll see how the stock market goes. So definitely looking good there. Let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum at the moment is sitting at $2,033. I think looking pretty good still. I mean, it's kind of similar to Bitcoin, a little bit better than Bitcoin in some ways, because the bottom of the range was kind of around 1823. We had Tom DeMark's, $1,790 mark. It actually got a little bit low at 1742. That happened back here on the 8th of February. Similar sort of looking chart to the Bitcoin, really, but we're slightly higher here at 2,033. We got the 50-day at $2,156. We got the EMA of 200 at 2,700. Sorry, 2,735. Yeah, and the orange here up here. So we've got a bit of work to do there, but actually, I think Ethereum's looking kind of cool. And we've got the digital asset treasury, which is Bitmine Immersion, buying up Ethereum, right? So we had their announcement today. So let's go to that. And they're helping structurally keep the price up, generally speaking, unless they do an OTC deal. But if they're buying on the market, then that's looking pretty good. Now, there was some confusion over Bitmine Immersion where they had bought another 50,000, but apparently that wasn't their account. So they have only bought a smaller amount, but the smaller amount is still bigger than last week. So and still pretty exciting to see that increasing, because it's basically them saying the market is bottoming out and that they're starting to get confidence that the market's going to head higher. There's a couple of reasons why they don't spend all their, $1.2 billion in cash, because they want to pace themselves through the market, and also their MNAV is below 1, right? So typically it's been above 1. It's about 90 or 0.9, so it's about 10% below. So they've got to pace themselves through the market here, and while still raising capital from the market. So it's a very fine balance, and I think Tom Lee's doing a great job of that. So they gave their update, and Bitmine provided its latest update holding for 30th of March, the $10.7 billion in crypto. Obviously, that's, Ethereum's around 2,000 right now, so you take that into account. But they got 4,732,000 ETH right now. Awesome, right? Isn't that great? That's pretty spectacular, guys. 197 Bitcoin, which, because remember, Bitmine Immersion was an old Bitcoin miner. Remember, they registered pretty much the 28th of June last year, so they haven't been around that long. Well, we're talking about 9 months now. And they already got 4.7 million ETH. So unbelievable, guys, from Tom Lee. And this is spectacular for the future. It really is. $200 million stake in Beast Industries, and also 102 million stake in ALGO. And remember that Tom Lee's now on the board for that. So is Kathy from ARK Investments, and they've got access to OpenAI, right, through Orbs, as well as through WorldCoin with the digital ID and AI. So think about that. So OpenAI and Mr. Beast, you got both, two of possibly some of the biggest IPO, biggest capital raise, trillion plus deals coming up, and they've got access into that. Isn't that outstanding? I mean, think about other ones that are going to be amazing. So SpaceX will be amazing, and when that goes public, right? So that'd be people talking about 1.7 trillion. Here we got Mr. Beast. That's probably going to be a trillion plus dollars, and you got OpenAI, probably going to be $1 trillion plus as well. So there's some of the big heavyweight ICOs launching in the future, probably this year, next year, and these got access to that. So it's brilliant, isn't it? And remember that Tom Lee is focused on both the institutional side and mass adoption with retail, and you can see that both happening here with Mr. Beast and through Orbs. So you can see how all the pieces of the puzzle coming together. It's absolute genius, guys. And this is what movies are made of. If you think about some of the great movies like The Big Short, excitement of that. Well, this is in some of those young guys, they're positioning themselves for the market crash and all sorts of stuff. Well, this is the opposite. You're positioning yourselves for the big upside of things. So really exciting stuff happening here. Now, they still hold $961 million in cash. Woo-hoo-hoo! So they can do big buys moving forward as well. And also they can do mergers and acquisitions, right? So they're looking to acquire the very valuable assets that are going to pull this big picture together as they become kind of the next Berkshire Hathaway for the blockchain/AI movement. So exciting stuff happening here. All right, so they made a few commentaries from Tom Lee. As the Iran war enters its 5th week, ETH and crypto outperformed the broader market, with ETH outperforming equities by 1,160 basis points. This is a marked contrast to gold, a traditional store of value, which is underperformed by more than 750 basis points. Crypto is demonstrating itself to be a good wartime store of value. How about that? Wartime. It does make you feel like you're back in World War II. If you're old enough to remember. If you're old enough to remember talking to people before 2000 and all the people that's fought in the war, and even after that, right? Even up and mostly they've just started passing. There's a few left. There's not many, but they talk about them about the war. It was quite a different time. All right, so number 3 there, we got the inverse correlation of crypto and equities to oil has been increasing and is the highest level in the past year. This is logical, says Tom Lee, until equity markets become comfortable with the future trajectory of oil prices. Rising oil is a headwind for equities and crypto, so we've still got that downward pressure. And in a sense, the crypto winter likely ends when the upside risk of oil peaks. So that could be within the next 2 weeks. I mean, it's quite plausible there. We'll look out for that though. And obviously Trump touting some sort of peace ceasefire deal. Obviously, that's going to have to be quite comprehensive because you don't want the risk of a radical nuclear bomb terrorist thing and all the proxies causing violence and killing, all these people again. So we'll be watching out for that. Bitmine there also has its staking of ETH, so it's at 3,142,000. Remember, they've almost got 4.8 million that have staked a good 2/3 of that. No change in the last week. This is a portion of the 4.5 million ETH held by Bitmine. Well, actually, someone forgot to update that, didn't they? Because we're at 4.7. So someone forgot to update their slide. This is typical stuff. This is the problem when you copy and paste stuff all the time. So that's what happened there. So yeah, the CESR is 2.79, so about 2.8% basically is the yield they're earning. Pretty attractive. And remember, with the battle of the Clarity Act and the banks around yield for basically idle stablecoin being pushed back by the banks, is that active holdings are fine, and that means that a lot of DeFi innovation in that space, but also DeFi itself is even more attractive, and particularly proof of stake networks like Ethereum. So Ethereum really is the big winner, I think. I think it's obviously Michael Saylor is going to be vampiring the credit markets under normal conditions. Obviously, we're not in normal conditions at the moment with the Iran conflict and oil that's impacting oil. But actually, Ethereum there is looking very good all around, and with the proof of staking, right? So pretty awesome. And of course, we have that on Pulsechain too, right? So I'm sure we're going to get some benefit from that. All right, so that's kind of cool right now. And with that amount staked, I mean, it's 266. Was it? Yeah, 266 million. If they stake it all, it's $266 million of revenue a year. Outstanding, right? Outstanding year. And they're also earning money on the cash that they've got right at the moment. Now, the other thing that last week that they launched was the official launch of Maven, the Maven American Validator Network, the institutional grade staking platform. While Maven was originally developed to support Bitmine's own Ethereum treasury, Maven intends to expand to serve institutional investors. Very important part there. It's Tom Lee bringing them over from traditional markets. Remember, he operates in both areas, traditional markets, NASDAQ, etc., and crypto. He's one of the few well-known, large, influential crossover people. And now he has gone all in on crypto now, right? So he's gone all in on the blockchain and all the mega themes that we always talk about, stablecoins, tokenization, big one, right? AI agents and revenue making there, as well as creative income and many other themes that are going along with that. So pretty awesome stuff. So Maven intends to expand to serve institutional investors, custodians, and ecosystem partners seeking best-in-class staking infrastructure. This is really, think about the stablecoin yield. Well, this is really offering a lot of that yield right through the proof of stake. So real vampire type of thing there, compared to the Bitcoin. So compared to stable coins, and we saw Circle get depriced, right? So it went from like $145 down to 95 or something. So maybe it's even $91. I can't remember what it closed last night. But it's definitely favoring the staking yield. So win-win again. And when we get back to normal situation, it's going to be pretty awesome, right? Now, the weekly buys. Now, there was word that we had bought 117 for a Bitmine merchant, but it turns out that the other 50 must have been fake news or just misassociated. And it turns out that 71,179 ETH tokens were actually purchased. But that is up from the previous week of 65,000 ETH and the previous 2 weeks at around 61,000 ETH. So we've seen a big rise in ETH from the low. The low there was all the way back on the 12th of January of 24,000. Remember last year they were doing big purchases like December of 102,000, 138,000 in December, so some big buys there. But we're seeing the pace pick up again as Tom Lee and Tom DeMark there expect that the bottom is essentially in, obviously with a bit of a drag with the remaining phase of the war here. And of course, if a deal gets done, etc., and the oil flows essentially get back to normal. That being said, of course, the US is a net exporter and is benefiting from that. So not too bad. Why does oil prices go up? Obviously, in the United States, well, it's because of international prices, right? So we still get the impact of international prices there. but a lot more modest than some places elsewhere. And of course, nothing more fundamental than not having oil tankers come and supply you, right? So some big call outs there. Now, as we know, all the progressives and leftists that are all lunatics running around doing net zero and love authoritarian regimes destroying the West, all those guys, which we can't stand, they have really botched up, right? So they're not producing oil. They went on to renewables, and everyone knows that there's a lot of problems with that. And so now they're under the pressure. Where's the oil supply? You're going to do that. You're going to go and find some of the oil supplies. In Australia, for example, they have 3 main basins, but a lot of those are owned by American corporations like Mobil, etc., and a few local ones like BHP and things. So they're going to be under the thumb there. Are they going to expand oil supply there? Obviously, One Nation's going to do things like that because they're leading common sense policies rather than these radical globalist Marxist stupidities. So we're going to keep watching out for that. Back in 2000, Australia had something like 8 or 9 refineries. I think max they've had 11, and they're down to 2 refineries. So pretty crazy stuff there. So I think we could possibly see, assuming One Nation gets in power, back to their earlier policies of building out their thermal supply and, sustainability and defence. So pretty exciting. So it's really exposed some of those issues here with that. Now, let's move forward. So that's kind of where we are with the Bitminer mission. So yeah, BMNR currently reigns as the largest ETH treasury and largest holder of ETH in the world, second largest crypto treasury, only behind MicroStrategy's MSTR. It is exciting times, guys. Exciting times indeed. According to Fundstrat as well, BMNR traded average daily volume is still $920 billion. So we got billion. Is it the $1 billion? I don't know about that. 900. I think that's supposed to be million, guys. $1 million. But typically they're doing around a billion. So whoever did this update has made at least 2 major mistakes on it. 920 million a day, which is basically a billion. That's about right. 5-day average as of March the 27th, ranking 100 in the US, behind Freeman McMoran, ranked 99, and Delta Airlines ranking 101. So think about that, Delta Airlines, and they're ranking up there. Now, as you guys know, Strategy and Bitminer Immersion have very large daily volumes, and that means that when you're going to be issuing equity, or in Strategy's case, issuing debt as well, you're going to have a lot of capital flowing that will flow into those instruments, generally speaking. As opposed to if you didn't have large daily volumes, you're not really going to have much cash around it. No one's going to be, really haven't got any participants going to participate in those products and raise capital and then buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you see how it works? And this is the key thing, is that when you're thinking about crypto, yeah, everything's kind of risky in crypto because we're still maturing, and we've still got this big institutional flow replacing the retail, right, which we've had, previously in previous bull markets. And that's the argument for a lot of structural change in the so-called 4-year cycle. So there's a couple of different versions of the 4-year cycle, but it's a kind of what a lot of players currently hold on to, and so they kind of behave that way as well. So we've got a lot of things like that happening. But Bitcoin and Ethereum are the ones with the most liquidity, right? So most volume turning over, and these are the ones that are going to do the best, right? Because you've got the big players coming into these protocols. They're the ones going to be, this is the ones that are going to be really pumping up. Now, there will be beneficiaries in the market as a result of that. Arguably, Pulsechain may very well be one of those because it's a full system state copy of Ethereum. Ethereum hasn't had downtime, so to speak. I mean, it's had a few little issues, but downtime, and whereas a lot of other blockchains have, Solana, etc. So it's really a battle-tested network, and Pulsechain's been, for the most part, been working extremely well along with Ethereum. It also can take all the upgrades of Ethereum as well, the ones that it wants, and so forth. So there's a lot of exciting things happening there. It also can act as the DeFi chain, right? Whereas Ethereum has a lot of centralized entities operating on it. Pulsechain is really more of a full DeFi chain. Now, DeFi chains aren't necessarily always perfect either, particularly when you have people, managing certain features of them, which tends to be the case a lot. But it's certainly the best in breed of DeFi, I would say. If you're going to get nothing's perfect, but it's certainly in the right end of the spectrum, right, on the DeFi spectrum there. You don't get things like MetaMask, stopping you from, trading your tickers and things like that, or even centralized exchanges like OKX, stopping trading your tokens, none of this nonsense stuff, right? It's really do the DeFi, let people buy and sell and do their free will and trade freely, right? That's kind of the idea, and not track it and report the data back to some centralized authority, right? That's the other thing. So there's lots of things that Pulsechain can really win, not only in real DeFi, but what we're seeing also, which we'll get to later, is LibertySwap and ProveX and products like that are really pushing the frontier of privacy and peer-to-peer trading and disintermediation too of traditional banks and centralized exchanges and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunities to be done there, in addition to all the liquidity flowing through the chain. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And that's just some of the strong narratives that Pulsechain has to offer in alignment to what's happening with all the liquidity coming through Bitcoin and Ethereum. So these are kind of big picture flows, but we're going to watch that. And that's some of the angles that the community in Pulsechain can really hold on to, as well as obviously Richard Hart out there as well. So that's some of the big stuff there around Ethereum. So pretty big news there. Obviously, more buys from Bitmine, and buying in a way that indicates that the bottom is in. So kind of cool there. All right, let's get to Pulsechain, shall we? We got a few more chat comments. So we got Crypto Jackson House. Smash that like and subscribe. Absolutely smash the like and subscribe. And welcome to everybody coming in right now. You guys know we're excited about crypto. And of course, with these special events in the world, gives you an opportunity to buy massive volumes at discounts. And of course, DCA hopefully at the bottom. That's kind of what the plan is. And then the rebound should be glorious. We know that Ethereum price always has a V recovery. So we're expecting that to be no different here. Obviously, we're just waiting for the bottom to be in. But at the moment, you can pick up pretty good volumes on Pulsechain are outstanding. But obviously on Ethereum, it's actually holding pretty robust at 2,000 right now, if you think about it. So, and we've got these structural buyers coming in. Bitmine strategy doing a great job there, ushering billions of dollars of capital. So we're going to watch that in the year ahead. It's going to be, I think, pretty impressive. I think people are going to be quite shocked as well. All right, so let's look at Pulsechain. Now, Pulsechain was founded by Richard Hart. It was a full system state fork of Ethereum on the 10th of May, 2023, and then launched a couple of days later on the 30th of May. Then the SEC came along on the 31st of July, 2023, and decided to take not only Richard Hart to court, but also the blockchain, Pulsechain to court, as well as the DEX, PulseX, and also the certificate of deposit HEX as well to court. So that was a bit of fun. That lasted about 2 years, but Richard Hart, got the Avengers together or something, and lawyers, including some Elon Musk lawyers there, and defeated the SEC outright. And as far as I know, he's the only one to ever do that outright without some sort of deal done. And that was on the 7th of July, 2025. So, and since that time, we've still been in a downtrend. We've still had a lot of black swan events. We've had sacrifices. So sacrifice was always a weakness of the chain. So that was we had to play out that. And then we also had some of the copied contracts also be an issue, like Compound Maker and things like that. They were always going to be a risk vector, particularly when we didn't have the Oracle flow over too, right? So with Chainlink. So we had a lot of problems there, and that has harassed the chain as well. But the question is, are we at the bottom? Are we finding a bottom? When is it? There will be a bottom, I'm sure. And where is it? Is it here where we are right now? Is the Iranian conflict giving us that bottom? Has it shaked out a few more loose hands? We've definitely seen that happen in the last couple of days as well. Even more people losing their positions, including validators selling and dumping the chart. So are we pretty close, guys? Are we pretty close? We also see on the positive side, we see Richard Hart making a few moves around inflation, really clamping that out. So incentive inflation gone down to 0.0003 now, so down another 100x, essentially no inflation, right? For effectively no inflation, in inverted commas, very small amounts. And so we pretty much, I think we've got a fixed supply of ink now at about 56 million. So it looks like pretty much finished. Now, the question mark is what's value is ink, right? There's obviously large holders of ink, they can move the markets, but what actually value does it have now? It's obviously Richard Hart core coin, but what is the utility, right? PulseX has a utility. It's being burned off with the volume. Pulsechain has utility. It's the blockchain where everything else goes on it. It's got EIP 159 with the burn. It's unfortunately inflationary at the moment because we don't have the volumes to get to the burnability level. That's true of Ethereum, right? And then we also have HEX, which is a certificate of deposit. It's a yield generating asset. and it is in a competitive market now, though. It's in a competitive market. We also have a lot of other things happening right now with EHEX and PHEX and some form of conversion. We've got a lot of people arguing that we're heading up to 1-to-1 parity there. I see that being a possibility. I mean, it's quite possible. We certainly see it in the chart over the last 7 months. And that's always possible, right? So we also see pretty thick liquidity relative to liquidities on the Pulsechain. They're happening as well. So we're going to watch all those narratives. And is Richard gearing up, obviously, for altcoin season? No. He's looking at Pulsechain season. That's what he's focused on. And that's what he talked about last year, right? I'm interested in Pulsechain season and not altcoin season. Now, other commentators about altcoin season are saying, well, it's probably going to be quite far off in the future, and that there'll be a lot of winners and losers compared to previous markets. And I think that's probably not too far off the truth there. We also know that at the end of the altcoin season, typically you've got ridiculous NFT prices and things like that happening. Lots of rug pump and dumpers, really famous ones. And then you know that's pretty much game over for the cycle, right? That's kind of where we might be leading. But as I say, I think we're going to get some structural changes as institutions come in. They're a lot more mature. And then some of the retail players, they also don't go into as many of the risky devices and normally run their own protocols or in protocols that are custodial and regulated. So we will get a lot of changes, and that will be very important with the Clarity Act coming up potentially in April, May, right? That's kind of when we're looking forward to that. So lots of stuff. Anyway, Pulsechain, day 1,054. We got Pulsechain at the moment at 50753, up 1.1%. So a little green shoot there, but very much near the all-time low. So that's kind of in that all-time low zone. We got Pulsex at the moment at 50606. That's actually had a 5 yesterday, didn't it? That's crazy. That's up 30%, so not much there. And the buy and burn sitting at 8.77% on GoPulse, but it's about 2.2, I think, on Pulsechain stats. Ink token at the moment, 35 cents, down 2.7%. We've got Hex on Pulsechain at 1300th of a penny at 1%. That is almost as good as Pulsechain, so it's about the same. Same there. We got EHEX there at 00069, and that was down really low yesterday. That was crazy. Combined price at EHEX and PX is at 0.2 of a penny. OMG. Is this the bottom? That's the question, right? And of course, we see that convergence of EHEX and PX. One EHEX is worth about, one PX is worth about 2 EHEX at the moment. So we've got about a 0.5 ratio, I think, by my count. So let's jump over to the gas prices. 820,000 beat, a little higher than the last couple of days, but still super cheap at 0.2 of a penny for a Pulsechain. Looking at the validators, which we saw obviously capitulation about a week ago, 4 or 5 days ago, and we're down at 51,200. I think he took about 1,200 validators out of something in that ballpark. Bridge there, we're at 69.8, so we're up a bit again today. So we've been up 2 days in a row, but we're not quite back at 70 million yet. Still 160k shy. But so let's see what happens. Obviously, if Bitcoin and ETH goes up, we get some more stable coins. We're in better stead there for the old Pulsechain. Let's jump over to the best performance. So this is Dex Screener's Pulsechain category. We've got it ranked by 24-hour volume here. 24-hour performance. We've got Most Wanted, one of our top meme coins, is up 14.4%. Nice to see that. We'll have a little look at that one. And of course, nothing's financial advice, right? We're just looking at what's going on in the chart. Obviously, there's US dollar price. Obviously, Pulsechain's down dramatically, so the most charts are down. And if it's not, then you're in a pretty good token, aren't you? And it might have a number of variables that are holding it up. But let's have a look at the pulse ratio and see what this says. This is the weekly chart, and we'll log that, and we can see, it's pretty much been moving along sideways with the most. Now, some of these top meme coins, like most, they typically have quite a large holder class. Maybe some big whales holding it up. And just sort of maybe that's what's sustaining it, just moving sideways here on the pulse ratio, sitting at about 393 right now with a low of around 300, let's say. So, it's up about a third at 393 there, so holding up there, which means if we do get a reversal in the Pulsechain, there's a good chance that this one will start to really run away there, especially if the holder class is quite diamond hand. And then you're just getting into X's, 2, 3 X's. Is that when the first holders start selling? That's the question there. Curve, of course, recently launched a limit orders using the switch technology from Brandon. So that was pretty cool. One of our DEX aggregators and swapping sites. That's up 13% today. Let's see if that got much love from that over the last little while. While US dollars up a little bit in the last week. There's a weekly candles. The RSI down here at 44. Let's look at the pulse ratio as well. We're going to go to the last couple of days. Look at the last 2 days, been up there, probably following that limit orders. But let's look at the weekly chart. That is the weekly chart. Let's log that though. And that's looking pretty damn good, isn't it? So curve looking good there at 373. Not bad at all. We go back to the US dollar price, the RSI at 42. So this could really potentially have a nice little runaway. Obviously, it's got a market cap of 2.7 million, a liquidity at 61K, and the volume is very small at the moment, 2.3. Be interesting if we see a market maker come in there and pop that up a little bit there and get that moving. Definitely got a chance to do that. Now, still, I don't know what the volumes are going through there, probably modest, but still, looking good there on the chart. Firewell coming up a little bit there, 11% from good old Firewell himself. That's on the tick up there. In fact, let's see how that's got. It's versus the Most token, so we're going to bump away from there. So that's getting dragged up from this Most token there a little bit too. Liquid loans is up at 8.8%. Don't count out. So for those that are new, we had a whole sacrifice round. We had Pulsechain and Pulsex from Richard Hart that raised almost 1.8 billion or something, including Hex, about $650 million. Excluding, I think. And we ended up having a third sacrifice, which was an independent team, Liquid Loans, out from Australia there. And they were going to do a liquidity fork using Pulse, which they launched. They launched that, right? They also did a multi-sig solution, and they also did a Oracle, right? The Oracle that we have, which I think is the only main public Oracle that we have at the moment, with Signum coming down the line at some stage. Finished, but not yet come to market, apparently. So I'm still waiting on for that from. Come on, Stu, you can do it. So we've got 5 zeros, 1832 right now on Liquid Loans. And of course, they raised about $52 million. Can you believe it? Show me the money. The money's somewhere there out there, guys. And it's earning interest. It's earning interest. So there we go. Liquidity on here is 32,000, which is, people will complain about that a lot. And look, I don't blame them. That's why I'm talking about it. And it's a little bit upsetting there. Now, to be fair, Liquid Loans has launched all their products. They also are doing a lot of promotions, trying to get adoption and going through conferences and things like that through Asia and Europe. But once again, it would be nice to see a bit more love in the chart. Secretly, of course, that's kind of where we are right now. And of course, maybe we'll get some love when Pulse reverses. We'll see. But that is it. Come on. Market maker, hint, 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 hint. We'll see. No, I'm not holding my breath though. Not holding my breath. I'm just saying. So we had a big wick down yesterday. Last week we had a low of 5 zeros, 1,000. Can you believe it? OMG, just about lost a zero there. 6 zeros, I should say, 1,000. We almost got 7 zeros. Can you believe it? Oh shoot, hoot hot dog. Let's look at the pulse ratio though. That's the important one, right? And this is where we are right now. So we're going to exclude the beginning of the chart. We have wicked down several times. Look at this on the weekly. That's weekly candles. That's pretty insane. So yeah, we wicked down to 1.4 cents there, but we have been a low of what's the low? 0.0097, so less than 1 cent. There is the low there way back in September. So we'll keep a look up for that. That's the biggest liquidity fork. We will have potentially 2 liquidity forks launching coming up, which should take us to 6 by my count. On Pulsechain, and that will include, they will be multi-chain though, rather than just on Pulsechain, and that will be Vault 369, and that is in public testing, as I understand it, private public testing, yeah, not launched yet, and the token is out there, but the protocol, and then of course a coin whale from Rackham Shell will be multi-chain too, and so we're looking forward to that. And they'll both bring new stable coins as well, right, based on liquidity technology there. So that's going to play. I think they're still using V1. Are they still using V1? Be cool. I don't know. We'll have to ask Fast, but it'll be nice to see them use the new technology, V2 of liquidities. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right. So that is 2.4 cents right now on liquid loans. Like I say, these all one would consider blue chips, especially with the liquid loans having such small liquidity. But they rely, really, generally speaking, on Pulse going up. At the moment, of course, maybe the market's had enough of selling off, and we've got a bit more buying going on at the moment. So it's maybe we've reached that. Maybe it's an early sign of the bottom potentially, unless we get another really bad international news or something. Zendog there, one of the Peacock trifectas, is up 7.5% today. And then we've got Peacock itself with its die pair. Now that is moving up as well, 7.5%, and Zero Trust there, the other third of the trifecta. So we've got Zendog, Zero Trust and Peacock on the move right now, up 7.5%. We've got Coffee Shop tied in the Peacock as well, up as well. So all the Peacocks tied in LPs are moving up. Peacock itself is there. We've got the main pair there up at 1.23 cents, up 5.8%. And of course, we're going to talk about LibertySwap because they are really the Kraken protocol now on Pulsechain, and they are building out a huge DeFi system, DeFi system on Pulsechain. Not just Pulsechain, but it's multi-chain. So this is exactly what we want to see happen. And much of it is along the lines of a lot of Richard Hart vision, but actually going even beyond that. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see where all that goes. So they're up 5.8%. We got a little bit of PBC and UFO in the mix as well, up about 4.5%. We got 9mm, the second biggest DEX as well, up 3.9%. Top Hat tied into Peacock from Crypto Coffee is up 3.6%. Unity tied into Pulsex actually, so Pulsex pair from Cryptographics, one of our big influencers as well, up 3.5%. And of course, Founders. True Farm, big shout out to Neil and Daniel out there doing a great job. That's currently sitting at 75 cents. That is up 3.5% today. Nice to see that. And of course, that's a essentially modified fork of Emmett Farm, doing great there with Kara. So big shout out to both those teams. And what else have we got? Pulse Puppy up 3.3%. Pump Tire Die like yesterday, up 3%. Sword Sun Mini Meal supposed to be going to Solana, but still here. Still here, March. We're at the end of March. Maybe tomorrow they'll say we're going, but it's April Fool's, right? It's April Fool's. We got 5.3 cents at the moment, up 2.9%. They are not using their buy and burn. I mean, if they're buy and burn, this thing would be up and away, although they do have some pretty big holders as well. And that's kind of where we are with that one. A Troper up 2.8% from James Maria. And of course, we talked about Crypto Sparbook's video around, he's been doing a couple of conspiracy theory ones. There's a lot of good weight behind a lot of these ideas he's talking about. But that was out yesterday. He did one on Hex, right? EHEX and PX. Also, prior to that, did one on LibertySwap and Richard Hart, right? So, which we cover all the time. We think there's a lot to that. And of course, James Murray is out there as well, pushing his vision, which may or may not align with Richard's out there as well. So we've got Troper up there, 2.5%. Emmett Farm, we talked about them at $1.04. So big shout out to Kairos, doing a great job there. And it just, of course, only 2 days ago had their 1 year birthday. So that's kind of cool for Emmett Farm. What are they going to do over the next year? Eh? That's the question. Emmett Farm, looking forward to it. We've got Dominance at the moment from OG Redshift, up 2%. Then we've got a bit of Richard Hart stuff going on here. Solid X up almost 2% as well. ALGO, Hex Derivative there. Liberty up 1.6%. Pump Tires Official up just under 1%, but not too bad. Another OG Redshift, remember, up just short of 0.75%. Hex is in the mix. Reserve Tay there from James Maria, I believe it is as well, up 0.5%. And then we get down to Vouch. Now, Vouch, of course, had some big holder unstaked from Vouch, didn't they? I think recently. And that got hit a little bit. But Vouch there, the number one validator. I still think they're the number one validator. I think they are. Double check that because Validator X is pretty big too. There's not too much of a gap between them. So Vouch there is up a little bit. Stacks is there as well at number 47. So we got 49. So almost half of them are green. But remember, Pulse was up about 1.1%. So essentially, we've got about a third of our coins are doing better in US dollar terms than Pulse on the trending list here. 100 trending. Let's look at the ones that are losing. We're going to scroll down there. World's greatest PDI printer, after being number one yesterday, is down 10%. So just down a bit of profit there. But I guess the big story here has got to be Ink Token is down, obviously, after the deflation event, which is basically no inflation. But like I said, what's the use case? What's the use case there? And obviously, the PulseX has the Master Chef contract and the DAO and everything, but we've seen nothing happen that yet. Is that still a couple of moves for Richard to play? For sure. He could definitely have a couple of moves there. And so we'll keep a lookout for that. What I mean by a couple of moves, third party, like a new protocol, single side staking, the DAO itself being activated, handing over power, all those things like that. So I guess could be playing there. We'll see. Will it be in play? We don't know. We'll see. What else? We've got ProvX at the moment is down 7%. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to go to the biggest pair, which is USDC. And this is definitely, there's a lot of now Richard set this up with USDC, USD Tether, DAI, and Wrapped ETH, about $2.4 million, $2.3 million worth. And now, obviously, a lot of other pairs have been added on the mix, which are at least 50% of that. So maybe another million or so. I'm not sure what other pairs have been tied in since then, but I did a post on that a little while back. Yeah, we're getting it's down. It's going down. So let's look at the trader's view. You can see here down. It's gone. I mean, I might go full view here, but this is it's gone down, and we have seen a low today of 405,994. So let's just say 6,000, and we saw that about a week ago, which was also down at 5,945. So we've come back down to meet that. And I think when that happened, I said, oh, it's possible we'll come back to it. We have done that. So we're at 406171. And the chart's not looking too hot there. We are rolling along the bottom here. So I think we will come up off the bottom eventually. So there could be some big opportunity getting pretty close here on the chart. But let's have a look how far we're down now from the top. Obviously, we had a big rally, right? So a lot of profits there, including the sacrifice class from the PRUVEX pool. But we're down 55% there. Are you happy with that yet? I mean, we've been down 56%, but are we going to go down like 70? Is that a safer move? Is that where we could potentially head? Down 70, that would take us down to 4,100. That would only leave the most profitable multiplier people like the PRUVEX pool in the money still. And we got obviously the mean price here without the multiplier up here, this yellow line, which is all the way up here. So it's well under the money on that one at the moment, which is how much? About 38%. Now looking at market cap, let's look at that. As you guys know, I just felt that market cap should be around 60 to 75. And I knew there was FOMO in the market, so I wasn't fighting the FOMO because we're not idiots here. We're used to this in the charts, right? We got the FOMO that played out, but then of course down we come, and it's heading very close to my qualified assessment. My qualified assessment, my reasonable assessment, whatever you want to call it. We got 75K right now. It's just about hit that, right? So it's getting pretty close to my market cap. And my market cap was just based on not DEX screener market caps, but actually GoPulse market caps. And that would mean that PRUVEX is still in beta. So it's not really doing a lot, and therefore the price shouldn't be priced up now, right? It's just speculative. So all this stuff, that's why I've got this chart looking like this, is that all this value in blue is just speculative value, right? FOMO there. And we knew it was going to roll over, right? We saw the rollover happening definitely here, definitely there, right? This is very important that you get used to charts looking like that. We see it all the time. The big FOMO there. And then, of course, if people get up here and they still think it's going to go up, heaps and heaps and heaps. But once it starts rolling over like this and you see a couple of big players wick it out, because they're looking at the chart too, they're also looking at RSI, and they're going, I think it's time to roll over. And then so they help it roll over, and down it goes. And you can sort of see the lower highs come all the way down. Now we're down at 78 million market cap. But I've got mine here at 75 to 60. And that would mean that instead of just having a 56% pullback, we start getting into that sort of 70% pullback before it moves up. Now, Richard Hart seemed to come in at the time the market maker came in and did the X post, which, you can decide if that's one and the same. But we will probably see a market maker come back in here at some stage. It's just a matter of when. So we're definitely I think almost at the beginning of that zone with a 56% pullback. But maybe we have to get down to 65, 70% before that market maker comes in. So we'll keep a lookout for that. We don't just making some suggestions there. But let's have a look at the price here on PRUVEX. Like I say, the protocol's only in beta, right? So it's not really, how can you value a market cap, in my view? And this is crypto, you can do all sorts of things, right? But just in reasonable, if you're looking at fundamentals, how can you value it more than Pulsechain itself, PulseX, etc. That just makes much sense to me. And so therefore, that's why I had the lower, that should come back in that zone. And so far, it's heading that direction, right? So kind of cool. Euphoria is over and reality comes in, kind of thing. And then, a market maker is likely to come back in later on. That's kind of what we're looking forward there. Now, I had the price here. So this apparently is the PRUVEX pool price. So they're still well in the money, right, at 3,200. So that would mean that they're still in the money about 87%. Now, if it does pull back to this 4,200, let's say we have a 70% pullback, which will put us in that market cap range, no doubt. That would be, what do we say, around about 4,200, let's say. So that would only leave a little bit of room there, a little bit of profitability there. And certainly I don't expect many of them selling unless they have to, right? Something in life happened or something that had to get the money out, then that's the only reason why I would think that. That's still 30% gain based on that level for the best people with the best multiplier is based on what I was advised there. Now, what else are we going to say about this? Richard could do some announcements. That's always true, moving from beta, etc. So we'll keep a lookout for that. That can always be a pumpamental as well as a market maker coming in, and we'll see that. But at the moment, it's come all the way back, right? So it's not really a parabolic. It's not a parabolic. It's not Hex 13 parabolics. It's kind of come back down and rinse people out. So still the rinsing people out of the system zone, right? Still early days. And this is the 4 hourly. Let's go to the daily, because as you guys know, the daily just started printing an RSI, and we started off at about 50, and we're just gone slightly below 50 now. So still early there on the daily, but we have got an RSI print now, and we're just pretty flat here at the moment too. But could still creep down. The lowest maybe 42 is my guess. I don't see a lot of these guys selling. That gap there, with that 30% gap, would be a cushion. And so that's kind of the play where we are, unless something really bad, we get heaps more other bad news happening, dumpers, etc., which I think is, I think less likely now. I think we've got to be pretty close to the, more diamond hands in play, unless we get some special events happening. So here we are right now on that. So we'll keep a lookout for the old ProofX. Now we have had some positive stuff, so we're going to get the news. Do you guys want to hear some of the cool news? We've got lots of good news on Pulsechain consistently coming out. And I think, some of these top protocols are probably helping guide a lot of other developers on Pulsechain to build quality stuff and to really focus on that. Now, as you guys know, the Crypto Night Show is one of the few, agencies on Pulsechain offering promotions to teams, because teams can make the greatest product in the world, but if people aren't hearing about it, then it's a good place to start off. And the low-hanging fruit, of course, is Pulseskins and Hexkins for your product. So we help do that, right? So we do the Monster Thread publication. Obviously, we do that. We do promotions on X and social and Telegram and YouTube, etc. And so that we help in our way. And it is professional offerings, but we do it in a probably 3x the cost to output, right? So we get a pretty good damn value out of that for people that use Crypto Night Show services. So it's kind of cool. We enjoy doing it too. It's a win-win for everybody. But there's other marketing going on, right? We see that we've got some mystery marketing going on. Is it Richard Hart? Who knows it? But we've got Pulsechain Sats here talking about airdropping 1 EHEX to large whales. So this seems to be happening in the last day or two. We got 1 EHEX going to large whales on Ethereum, shows up in their wallets when they next view it. Airdropping from Pulsechain network does not, as most wallets do not support Pulsechain or its native tokens natively, as we know. So we've got EHEX being dropped to whales there. The airdrop is to get Hex back on people's minds and reach new whales so they can see discounts in our charts, thinking it is in any way putting EHEX above PHEX would be a mistake. So there we go. The airdrop is to get Hex back on people's minds. I think we're pretty excited about that. So that's another chess move that seems to be made at the moment, and reach new whales so they can see the discount on our charts, thinking it is in any way putting EX above PX would be a mistake, though. Obviously, PX on the Pulsechain Magic Upright chain. That being said, we shall see about that. We shall see about that for the people in the parity group. There's definitely a scenario for parity, and we do see that playing out over the last 7 months too. People on X see something and make a narrative that suits them versus thinking that what is the most logical explanation of this above occurrence. So that was from Pulsechain Stats, but I think we had something else here from Crypto Solve. So that was a little while ago, but we're going to go through some of the Pulsechain Stats here with the observations here. This experiment is still unfolding with the EHEX there, airdrops, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. So apparently, over 2.2 million wallets have now been airdropped, anywhere from 1 Hex to $1 worth of Hex. We went from 365 holders to 2.5 million in a matter of a few days there for EX. The wallet behind it, links to pumpamentals.com, is sitting on roughly 600 million Hex. So is this from an independent party? that's doing this. We shall see. A very interesting strategy. Millions of fresh wallets now have direct exposure to Hex. The real question is what happens next. Will even a fraction of these users start exploring Pulsechain and rotate into the core ecosystem once they realize what's being built, especially after seeing what Hex did in 2021? Well, in terms of that, you guys know that the Kryptonite shows a no drama channel. We have lots of drama in the old Pulsechain community. It brings a lot of engagement, but it also can turn a lot of people off. So we'll see how that goes as well. It's one thing attracting people to the chain, and then they sort of see all the drama going on, and they're like, "Oh God, I don't want any of this." Maybe some of them like the drama and they just join the crew. But it's a pretty good idea. So 2.2 million wallets airdropped Hex. Isn't that awesome? So we've got marketing on the moves, guys, and there's lots of ways to do marketing, and this is exciting. I think it's pretty cool. Now, obviously, you get a lot of dust in your wallet and you go, I'm not touching that because it's risky. But, there's Hex, and it's probably hopefully have that quality effect as well. Been around since the last bull market, and, of course, was one of the top 5 bull market coins. So it should likely do better, and we'll see if people investigate that. But certainly millions of wallets improves that conversion rate for sure. So that is some of the big news that's happening right now. CryptoSolve, of course, one of our quants or analytical influencers here, talking about as well. Over 2 million addresses airdropped, anywhere from 1 Hex to $1 worth, and no signs of slowing down from the distribution address. Where will we end up? Have you seen anyone outside of the ecosystem public acknowledging the movement? And that's the question, right? Will it be effective, right? So obviously people got a lot of small tokens at the moment. So Execute says dusting is lame. Negligible cost to achieve, potential new eyes, no real downside there. See, I would say there was any downside. It's just a question of whether it will pick up people's attention at all. Obviously, they'd have to be notified of that. So anyway, it's on the move right now. We shall see. Another way there, definitely ramping up the Hex wallets, that's for sure. Apparently CryptoSolve said there were 5,300 wallets that received $1 of Hex as part of the process. We've just run the stats. 30 wallets interacted with their free Hex as well. So it's getting some. I mean, it's what do you expect? 1%? Maybe over time going up to 2, 3%, 5% over time, if people realize, I don't know. But the initial there, I don't know, 1%, that might be reasonable. 20 of those sent it elsewhere. Wow, okay. 8 wallets sold it. Okay. 2 wallets actually purchased Hex. One of them purchased 1 million. And the other 8,336. Both wallets have subsequently sold again, but Hex clearly occupied at least a bit of the mind share for these 2 wallets. Haven't run the stats for the millions of wallets that have 1 Hex. So I guess if we extrapolate this from 5,300 wallets, it could actually, this is certainly early evidence that this might actually do well. Now, if there's millions going out, you got to expect to have some impact. And this early data is actually kind of encouraging. So both wallets have subsequently sold again, but haven't run the stats. But it's worth noting that 30 wallets have so far seen and done something with their free Hex. So that's really interesting. So I'm sure that CryptoSolve will give us an update on that. Very, very nice there. All right, so that is some of the stuff happening there right now. Let's have a look. Anything else? So those are come a little blue clues there. So millions of EHEX there as a marketing ploy, and that seems to have some early engagement at the moment. What if that's 5,000? What will a couple of million? Maybe they'll go to 10 million wallets. Who knows? I'm just trying to remember how many wallets there are on Ethereum. I know it's been growing quite rapidly. We've got a lot of AI agents and bots and all sorts of things now making wallets, right? So it's going to be exponential growth anyway on the old chain. Let's jump over to LibertySwap, which is the other big news, right? So if you thought that was cool, so, Pulsechain, man, not mucking around. There's people out there willing to do the initiatives, right? So last year, Richard doing the promo pads, third-party people, whales, and big influencers and stuff, organizing promo pads in the Hive in California. And now we see that expanding to the UK and things like that. Things are on the move. We've had an inflation cut on Ink token and Hex, and of course the OA recently. It's exciting times. So, we're getting things happening moving forward there. Rich Art doing a lot more moves as well. We've got ProveX out now, beta in play. Things it's been a lot of adjustments for sure, but the chain is on the move. We've got a lot of developers doing cool things. So let's talk about that. The next week could be a big one, says LibertySwap. We might have some exciting updates on the way. Then heading into a second week of April, there's a chance we'll roll out another major feature. I mean, I told you guys, these guys are the juggernauts of the chain. They really are amazing. We even got a magical twinkle. How about that? That was pretty cool. But then heading to the second week of April, there's a chance to roll out another major feature. And by the third week, we're exploring a product aimed at helping users earn yield in a safer, more sustainable way. So it looks like, guys, we've got the first yield offering product coming from LibertySwap, and it's exciting. Now, they've got a couple of different opportunities to do in that space. I think going to be very exciting. So keep a lookout for these, the old peacock there. Very, very cool. In fact, we'll probably repost that later. Let's jump into the next update from LibertySwap. What do we got down there? We got the, I'm not sure what that's about. We got the monster thread, which we're going to talk about shortly. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, look at that. I mean, we had the communities trending and heating up fast. So we'll talk about that later. 2,200 views on that so far. So that's really great. Just got released last night. But let's have a look at some of the good news there. So 11 hours ago, good morning, Pulsechain friends. I guess that's you guys and me. We're Pulsechain friends. The new week has begun, and our team will keep pushing boundaries to create features and software that other chains simply don't have. And that's a really key part of this, right? Leading the frontier of DeFi on the DeFi chain, the people's chain, right, is Pulsechain. Our goal is to make Liberty products unique. I love that. And Pulsechain more competitive. I love that too. And of course, exciting where this is heading. The new product we're working on will attract strong capital flow from EVM networks, even if that capital doesn't stay on Pulsechain. That's to be seen. Having a robust and free flow of money through our protocol will bring more attention to both Pulsechain and products. Absolutely. And we talked about that earlier with the turnover of Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So having 9% of the volume, you want to have volume flow through. You want to get that attraction volume. No use having a little stream, right? You want a big river, even if it's flowing back the other way. You still want it flowing, right? Yeah, that's a big key there. Rather than spend money on advertisements, we're investing in reliable, free infrastructure. Now, I have alluded to a couple comments that they've made about promotions, right? I talked about this, I think, yesterday. So here they are being a bit more demure on that about rather than spending money on advertisements. So that's pretty interesting. That sort of counters some of the previous comments. But I will still say question mark on this. I'll still say question mark on this because they're still building out so much DeFi, and they are getting a big network effect from that. So people tell people. There are obviously a lot of influencers covering this, so it does have a big coverage there as well. And we're excited about this frontier stuff. So they are gaining that bigger community, just organically, just by building and just the very best products. And being consistent. So it's kind of cool. But I'll keep a question mark on this, on promotion and advertising there, because we have actually seen, I think, a few little blues clues around that, around some of the advertising. So question mark there. But that's cool. We got new products coming, guys. And this one here, potentially opening up some of the floodgates there, the pipelines to Pulsechain. Kind of cool. So we've got some stuff there. Crypto Coffee liking that. The Pulse guys liking that. You guys are truly amazing, says Alpha Beatum. More capital flowing through LibertySwap with zero or subsidized fees. More attention on Pulsechain and our products. Time to compete with other chains and win. Kind of cool there. LibertySwap has made onboarding Pulsechain so nice. And I mentioned this the other day. Onboarding is so key. Free gas and easy UX, UI. They're pretty cool. So UI, user interface, UX, user experience. I love a good subsidy. Thank you. I love, what's he say? I love that my trades are fee-free. Yeah, so really taking away all the barriers to Pulsechain is exciting, guys. Exciting. So nice there. Lady Liberty with the muscles. What else we got there? Any more comments? Sometimes I read the comments because it's nice to see the feedback, but it's also because they often drop some extra little bit of alpha in there for the old LibertySwap. So that was a very good morning. Then 8 hours ago, so it was about 3 hours later, they go, this April, we will launch our first yield DeFi product that is permissionless, open source, allows yield creation, and is conservatively safe, protecting our protocol's funds while remaining open for public use. A new chapter begins for LibertySwap, Liberty Shield, and LibertyX. Peacock is coming near. So exciting stuff. So LibertySwap at the moment, the multi-chain bridge to Pulsechain. Liberty Shield there, privacy, and LibertyX there, the big DEX aggregator swapping, and of course API and open source for a lot of stuff happening as well. And then, of course, next month, we're almost there, right? Tomorrow, also, depending on where you are. But we've got the wallet coming. I've got to remember the initials to the wallet, but we've got the wallet coming. ZKX wallet, yeah. I always do XKZ for some reason. I always flip it around. Yeah, ZKX wallet is coming, and that's exciting. So Cabal King says LibertyX. a ZKX wallet, and now permissionless open source yield product. At this point, LibertySwap should get a Nobel Prize. So that's coming from K-Bar King there. And of course, our products will work seamlessly together to maximize benefits for the Pulsechain community onwards there. So really exciting. So we've got this wallet coming, and now we've got this new first yield DeFi product as well. So, LibertySwap there, absolutely crushing it. You got to get excited, guys. Got excited. So that is pretty good stuff from LibertySwap. I think we've got a few more comments to make. What did we get up to here? Did I just drop back a bit? Where did I go? Oh no, I'm going back too far. Somehow it pushed me all the way down the channel there. So that was coming from LibertySwap. 7 hours ago, LibertySwap keeps putting money behind their own project. Obviously, Peacock is the official token for LibertySwap. They said we have bought back $15,000 worth of Peacock and $10,000 worth of ETH and sent them to our Peacock Treasury wallet. So, constantly supporting the position of Peacock, even when people are selling. There's pretty good diamond hands, I think, in Peacock. But we did obviously see sell down there from 2.1 cents or 2.2 cents down to 1.2 cents or 1.1 cent recently. But the ratio is still looking pretty decent, around 1,500 last time I checked, with a high of about 2,000. Excellent, but where all the Peacock burning when LibertyX Market Maker starts. Now that's another product coming for the LibertyX product. Starts collecting fees, and our yield protocol launches in April. I want more Peacock and Peacock LPs. How about that? So obviously, when you have bigger LPs and you're fattening up the liquidity over time, subject to diamond hands, of course, you will allow bigger players to come in and out a lot easier. So that's the general premise of doing that. So kind of cool. What else we got going there? Someone says solid leadership, and you go ready if ETH pumps. Yeah, so when ETH on the move, which we're expecting, of course, we talked about how bullish Bitminer Mission was. We should see Pulsechain move higher too, right? We'll kick in that bottom, and on we go. What else does it say? Accumulate. Excellent. Those who lack patience are letting money slip right out of their pockets. Yeah. Peacock to $1, brethren. It's about time. The market is turning bullish again. 20% fee distribution to Peacock stakers coming soon. Right now, it's like 100%. So not 20%, it's 100% of the fees are going to Peacock. That's why it's holding its level, even though Pulse has lost 9% of its value since Peacock launched there. So awesome stuff. So as you can see, LibertySwap is different. They are doing a lot of support for the Peacock token, really living their mission. That's right. A unified anime. What have we got here? We've got a few comments in here, have we? Tornado Cash comment here. Let's see if there's any of this I want to talk about here. Obviously, talking about USD1, which they now support, but we'll jump past that. What else? 2 hours ago, it's wild to see Pulse has dropped 92% since Peacock launch, while Peacock is still fighting every day to keep the coin its community course. Not easy, however. I believe the effort will pay off one day, but now heads down, building more applications that will be ready for the bull market there. So talking about the Peacock charts, sitting about 1.2 cents. Well, you do have to sell all, because you got a retail book that's investing in your protocol, right? You always up against the retail book, selling down every time. We see that constantly. So you wonder why all the tokens are, well, not all, but the vast majority are down. It's because you got the retail book and they sell down every time there's risk management, which is fine. I mean, that's just what you're going to get, as opposed to more of an institutional play where you're holding long term. And potentially we're seeing that, I think, for the first time with True DeFi. True DeFi, of course, with their 2x Pulse miner. They've got, their RC. I'm going to make sure I get that right, because sometimes I get that wrong. Or was it SRE? One or two. And they go around and they invest. They typically invest in the safer projects like farms. So they're in Emmet Farm and True Farm, sitting inside the main token pool, earning single side staking yield. And both those pools offer ETH. So they're sitting there, I think, maybe about 25%. Certainly on Emmet, I think they're holding about 26%. Sitting there earning ETH every day from the volume that gets traded through the farm token, right? So that's been pretty interesting there. That should give it a lot more stability support as well as a big anchor. Now, typically network effects are normally around 12%, but I think in high retail players, you're probably 25% is probably pretty good positioning there. So some interesting decisions there from Neil and Daniel and the team. Good evening, Superman. Good to see you, Christos. Welcome. And we got the Queen of Crypto in the house. Tune in and learn for the Crypto Queen. Loves the Crypto Night Show. Have a big shout out there, Crypto Queen of Crypto, and great to have you in the chat there. and keep up the great work for sure. All right, so that's kind of some stuff we're happening there with the old LibertySwap. I think we're almost up to date there. Yeah, we got a monster thread out there. Somi doing a coverage of that, so big shout out to Somi for that. What else? That is some of the cool stuff. Now, how are we doing for time? We're up to an hour and 24 minutes, so we're already over time, but we're not finished yet because we're gonna go through the monster thread number 47, a publication of the Crypto Night Show. Now, MVS Crypto, of course, is the editor-in-chief of the monster thread, also the promotional lead for the Crypto Night Show, and so big shout out to him, all the work he's done. We do have a little challenges with the X platform sometimes. They've got do have some software issues, but apart from that, 47 weeks of the monster thread, isn't that amazing? Heading towards 1 year, not too far away. We got Hero in house. Hero is grateful everyone's support and all military veterans and first responders. So big shout out to the Hero team, doing a great job there. They have a DAO that gets earns from the volume, and they support a number of charities. So, and that's on Pulsechain. So awesome stuff to have Hero in house. All right, let's jump over to the monster thread, guys. Bum, 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 bum. I guess I should have done the horn, right? There we go. That's the horn. That's the horn on. We're in business. So MVS Crypto here, the editor-in-chief and promotional leader of the Crypto Night Shows, pushed out the monster thread last night. Pulsechain Weekly Monster Thread number 47. So let's get into the news for that. And we're also going to look at some of the big teams that are in the monster thread this week. So Richard's Hex 2.0, LibertySwap open source, promo tablets worldwide, and more monster news. Obviously, Emmett Farm and True DeFi Farm, they offer EDI returns and single-side staking, and also other popular farm options. So check out Emmett Farm and True Farm for some of the best farming yields on Pulsechain. Super high too, actually pretty good. Richard Hart's Hex 2.0. So we had the Hex staking site, the OG one, updated its Hex website with multiple wallet support. So you can do multiple wallets now, faster performance and smoother user experience. Now, for all those Hex OGs out there who remember using it for the first time, and of course we had the AA lobby run for 351 days. That was a pretty crazy time, right? It always brings me back. It was such a crazy time. So for those guys, we've now got version 2. Isn't that crazy? Hero says, great monster thread, MVS Crypto Coffee. Covered the monster thread today on a stream. Yeah, big shout out there. Crypto Coffee as well. Somi as well, yeah. So, monster thread is, the newsletter for the community. And, it's a privilege to do that from the Crypto Night Show and, of course, MVS and myself. So, big shout out there and all the teams that participate. All right, so let's get into it. I've got the highlight there. Let's get into it. We've got open source everything. So we just covered LibertySwap in quite a bit of detail, but LibertySwap also in the last week launched their GitHub repo with open source code, APIs, and SDKs. They also have 3 big upcoming features happening as well. So we talk about a number of other things, the wallet, and of course the DeFi yield product they got coming. But they also got stable swaps, market maker, marketplace coming as well for LibertyX and SDK. More SDK stuff happening for LibertySwap products. So people are going to be able to, like Intent Money Wallet, for example, use the APIs and you get into the SDKs as well for development. So pretty awesome stuff happening from LibertySwap. It is amazing. I call it the Kraken of the chain, Kraken protocol. Promo tablets distribution. So we've got people working hard out there, right? So a Wild SJ recently shared a video showing a shipment of promotional tablets being sent out to Hex Wizard and a Beast Hawk there, so 2 people in the community. Let's see them there. While giving a shout out to Open's info service. So we've got Gabriel there for helping RS Griffin. Now, RS Griffin is running a lot of the dispatching at the warehouse in California, and I think they call it the Hive. So, a bit like a beehive there. They're all certainly working as buzzy bees. We've seen a lot of them in the mods thread since they started putting out those promo tabs. For helping RS Griffin team label them. So think about what we got going on at the moment. We've got these iPads continually going out, millions of them going out. And now they're not just America, but going out across the world. But we're also seeing them go to a lot of more different type of places rather than just end up mailing out. They're being handed out at malls, handing out at fairs and things like that. I mean, it's just crazy, the places they're being held out there. The other thing, of course, is we're seeing Hex getting airdrops and eHex on Ethereum. They're attracting attention over there. We're already seeing some early signs that is working. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on, guys. And Pulsechain prices might be down all-time lows, but the community is building DeFi at the frontier, privacy as well, along with promotions. There's a lot of things happening, guys. So have some faith that the community is pretty unified, and as you guys know, unity is always the strongest strength. Strongest strength there. We got 99% inflation cut. Obviously, we're seeing Richard Hart doing some more chess moves. We've been doing them since at least the beginning of last year and ramping those up. We got more inflation, inflation this time dropped by 99%. Essentially, no more inflation. Essentially fixed at 56 million tokens with 62,000 holders, I should say. And this was reported by Fast Abdul, obviously the founder of Ink Printer, and also Vault 369 coming up soon too, as one of our key information sites, Pulsechain Stats. Kind of cool there. Exclusive DeFi come together. The call of the Somi. What the heck? Call of the Somi. We got Daniel in the house there and Neil from True DeFi, along with Executioner as well. He's involved with True DeFi also as a board member. Held another epic weekly founders panel with special guest Jexa. Now Jexa's from from Vouch, isn't it? The number one validator on Pulsechain. Super smart guy, great communicator. Great to see that. We got Casey Crypto as well from Morbius. Now Morbius is doing gaming on Pulsechain. We love gaming and we don't have enough of it, but Kyle there is really leading the way with the casino. Obviously, we've got Jacob out there as well doing on-chain bet. That's supposed to come to market soon too, so keep a look out for that. DBeaters in the house from RhinoFi. A big shout out to Derek. Obviously, we've covered RhinoFi before. Very innovative treasury and 28-day cycle tokenomics. I really love that. And then, of course, Kairos from Emmett Farm, arguably the leading farm on Pulsechain, although we have lots of great farms on Pulsechain as well. Extending an invitation to your friend Somi to join the upcoming Wednesday DeFi X Space. So look forward to that. Let's see what happens. Will he turn up? Let me know, guys, if he does. If I don't see it myself, which I probably will, but if I don't, let me know if he turns up to those, because that'd be great. That'd be great. And of course, that is a broad DeFi discussion happening on X Space there. So if you guys want to attend, definitely check that out with DeFi Nation, Neil Fatishas, etc. ProveX bigger than you think. So yeah, Jay Gold here shared insights and what some people are missing about ProveX getting hundreds of interactions from the community. Now, I actually haven't had a chance to check that out, but so you might as well see what it's all about. I might have a look at it later on. Pulsechain will succeed Crypto Coffee, arguably probably the biggest influencer, I would say, on if you add all the metrics in Pulsechain. Obviously, Somi's pretty big too, but Crypto Coffee there doing great stuff. Explains why he thinks Pulsechain will ultimately succeed. So if you want to hear Crypto Coffee get into that, do that. And of course, exciting times. Lock in now. Tam Tam, another great influence in the Pulsechain. She is working on a ton of hours right now. She's working hard, grinding for the man, as it were, to lock in current prices. So she's transferring some of that hard work earnings there while supporting Richard Hart's long game. So they were actually accumulating at the bottom here. Well, hopefully it's the bottom right. Looks like it, but we'll see. United Kingdom tablets there. So obviously we've got a lot of promo pads going out in America, but we've also got them going in the UK. And Just a Pulse guy there shows his batch of Pulsechain promo tablets ready for distribution. Let's have a look at that, shall we? We're going to have a look at that. Pretty sure it's down here somewhere below the dogs and the puppy dogs. It's down here. Actually, I think we got the images actually in the mods thread too. But these are some of the ones here, I think. I got the old pads there. Look at them all and the mail outs and stuff. So it's kind of cool. So that is looking good there. So the UK, man, iPads are going everywhere. The promotional iPads. Clarity Act progress. Obviously, we've got a bigger picture item here for Pulsechain. Clarity Act is going to benefit all the blockchains. Pulsechain, I think, will be benefit from the Clarity Act, but also particularly how it impacts Ethereum, right? Because Pulsechain is a full system state fork of Ethereum, at least back on the 10th of May, 2023. Crypto RS here. He highlighted that Senator Loomis who's one of the senators pushing it, updated that Clarity Act text is expected next week. So that's this week here, the week we're in now, with strongest ever DeFi developer protections after bipartisan stablecoin yield compromise. And of course, we had the banks push back on that. We had the banks, they don't want to protect their little yield. They like to give, their depositors very low yield, and they make heaps of money. That's how banks work. So they didn't want stablecoin issuers to have a run on the bank. because stable coins will get issued. They'll be backed by US dollars and treasuries, repos, and things, and of course offer a yield. And so everyone will, all the big guys start taking their money out. I'm taking my money, I'm going to put them in the blockchain and stablecoins on Ethereum, earning yield, just sitting there, right? So really nice yield. They don't want that. They don't want that, right? So a real pushback there. So we've got crypto girls everywhere. We've got what's that? Have me ja art. Oh, that's a tough one. But we've got there at the moment pointed out that there are more women in crypto than you think, especially in the Pulsechain community. Well, we know that in Pulsechain we've got a whole group of very active female influencers and community personalities in Pulsechain that are helping spread the word and doing great things. So yeah, 100% agree with that. I think we've got some art there. We've got some artwork. There we go. We've got a new influencer in there. Or that maybe that's half Major there. New influencer there. Welcome to Pulsechain. Welcome to Pulsechain there. All right, so let's get back into it. So welcome. We got new Pulsechain swag. So if you love your merch, we got 7 Crypto here. He sends a shout out to Pulsechain store, or Pulsechain store, I should say, as he shows off his new swag. Check out the gear. And so he's got some of the Pulsechain gear there. Pretty nice, right? We've got t-shirts, got the mugs. Very cool. Got the old rip bag, just ripped it open there. We got all that. So that's cool stuff. And you can go to the Pulsechain store. As I understand, the Pulsechain store is going to have some big giveaway soon of equivalent of $50,000 in merch value. So that's coming up. Understand it. Pulsechain store, of course, doing a great job there with Pulsechain merch. We've got DGen Generation docuseries. Tom Peter Gill from Indican Official. He is doing a DGen Generation docuseries. Is now fully available on YouTube for free. So big shout out to Tom Peter there. I'm not sure if there's a picture of that. He's got a little video on that. So definitely check that out. So that is cool. Pulsechain secures the US border wall. What? Say what? We got Triple Dad, obviously a prolific developer on Pulsechain. He has an influence in his own right. He has put some stickers apparently on the US border wall representing Pulsechain. I kind of like that. It's a sort of quirky, fun thing I like. There he is. There he's got a cigar as well. That's boss mode, right? That's boss mode right there. Look at that. We should get these like glow ones that it glows in the night. So, how do I get across the wall? Just follow the Pulsechain glowing stickers or something like that. So there we go. Look at that out in the desert there. It's such harsh. Look at that desert, man. That's so harsh, isn't it? Boy, you want to make sure you got not a bottle of water, but a backpack of water, don't you? A backpack of water if you're out in that heat. That's crazy stuff. Look at that Hex Pulsechain. That's too good. I'm just laughing at that so much. So that is pretty hilarious there. Pretty amazing there. And of course, under President Trump, those walls are essentially secured now, and so it's a much safer place in America. We don't have all the prisoners coming in into the United States there. All right, so that is pretty cool. Wait, is that the Mexican border? Correct there. Well, it's probably the border of Trump, if you know the jokes there. All right, so that is from Triple Dad. We got cross-chain parity theory. Now, Crypto Sparbook. Now, you guys know this guy. Him along with AberX, they did amazing job with their Hex tours. They did big conferences. They had thousands of people go to those things, onboarding people to Hex. And of course, now he has been doing a lot of YouTube coverage here. And we got Crypto Sparbook dropped an interesting video observing EHEX trending towards 1-to-1 ratio of PHEX, suggesting a theory that parity is necessary for Pulsechain to succeed. So you can go check that out. That is on YouTube. Now, a couple of things about this is that it obviously pulls in James and Maria and Richard Hart. So how they, I guess, maybe they're, in cahoots on back channels, how they talk to each other in Europe, of course. There's a lot of similarities there. And of course, James and Maria, they're a pretty smart guy. But what I would say is that, some of that stuff's quite old. The only thing I would say, is that, obviously the last 7 months, we have seen that parity start to move back up. And now we're getting all the EHEX drops as well. So definitely a lot of catalysts supporting that. And of course, with the liquidity as well, bonding, definitely a chance of parity. So it's always been, a scenario that could play out. And so we'll keep watching that. It's going to be fun to see. So that is pretty much it. So he's been doing a couple ones on Hex, on LibertySwap, etc. And of course, tying in some of these personalities. Emmett 1 year celebration. Now, we can't say enough good things about Emmett, can we? Emmett's been doing amazing. 1 year of flawless management and over $110,000 in the bear market in ETH rewards distributed to participants. And of course, now we have True Farm as well with the True DeFi team forking off the Emmet Farm and creating their own ecosystem, also adding to that, as well as a few other protocols like Conji on, I think it's a base chain. It's base. And so, yeah, that's amazing stuff. So big shout out to Emmet Farm. And they had a big milestone there. 1 year of emissions, single-side staking, Emmet Daily to liquidity providers, deepening liquidity across quality assets, Active Farm Factory, of course, which is a new product. Also, you can find that on Nexion too. Partner deployments, which has been incredible. I mean, come on, virtually all the top protocols on the Emmet Farm that you can go do yield farming with. DAO governance and community alignment. That was a really growing experience, the DAO, because it's not always easy as a developer to let go and that DAO to run itself, because you just never know what's going to happen. But that's been pretty cool. 110,000 ETH rewards, unbelievable. And of course, system designed for ongoing rewards there with really good inflation mechanics as well as burning, etc. Emmet tiers. So these are the how has your experience with Emmet been over the past year? Reward 3 entrants there with 25 Emmet. And one of the key things that this team has done so well is do airdrops in Telegram constantly, and also doing giveaways. So this team does it all. And you can join in this if you want to now. So I'll post a link to this if you guys want to participate. Emmet. I don't know if it's finished yet, so you have to double check that. But that is the giveaway competition for 1 year. Definitely check that out. So that is the link there. We're going to get into some of the comments. We've got a few comments in the chat there. But that is essentially the main news on the Monster Thread over for Monster Thread week number 47. Can you believe it? Heading towards 52 weeks, which is 1 year. We do have a couple honorable mentions there as well. So let me just do the giveaway there. That's the giveaway. Bam, 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 bam. That's it there. We've got a couple of comments. I'm going to get into that after the honorable mentions. Prairie Banana shared his updates on PDC and UFO. I mean, this guy keeps crushing it, doesn't he? The old Prairie Banana. And, of course, PDC, UFO, one of the very top protocol communities in Pulsechain. So we can have a quick look at that, I guess. That is some there. Kind of cool. We got Hexfire, pretty much the key guy covering Hex, as well as Ben Sierra. Those two kind of, I think, are probably the main guys covering the analysis and deep dives into Hex these days. Drops the latest Hex T-share report showing ongoing scarcity. We got Bob Wells posted a wholesome pic of with his little one. I actually haven't looked at this, so we're going to look at this one. Oh, there he goes. There's Bob B there, Bob Wells, and little baby. How cute is that? There we go. Let's pull that up there. It's a bit bigger. Little baby asleep there. So a good dad knows how to manage the kid there. We got Hexray Vision went vibe coding live for Dark 2.0. So he's got his project there, Dark 2.0, and I think they got a bit of the DJ stuff going on, if I remember rightly. Yeah, look at that. There we go. So they got their Dark project there. While we're checking out there from Pulsechain Vision, Dark 2.0 beta is live. He's been doing a lot of content on that lately. All right, so that is all the honorable mentions as well. Now, we do have some key project teams. True DeFi, pump your bags with True Farm. We've got Emmet Farm, of course. So we've got two of our top farms in here at the moment, 1 year anniversary. Obviously got the giveaway at the moment. We've got Hero, of course, who happens to be in the chat today. So big shout out. Supporting the veterans and first responders with Hero and Vets Token. They have a DAO and they do, I think it's monthly, I think it is. I've got to double check that. Maybe Hero can let me know, but I think they do allocations to some of those beneficiaries that they have. So it's kind of cool. We got obviously the Kryptonite show. We got ZK on Pulse, the first ProvX printer. Obviously, first protocol really outside the swapping sites to actually, if you buy ZKP, stake it, you and yield. And it's another Kairos project. And that's on the back of ProvX, which I thought was a really smart move there. And that's tended to be quite popular. So we're going to watch that journey. And then we've got trending communities, Peacock, PDC, ProvX, and Zero. Obviously trending pretty big in the old Pulsechain there. We've got some photos. Obviously the iPads going out in the UK. We've got Triple Dad there on the border walk with that stogie. That's pretty awesome. And then we've got new female influencers, community people coming into the chain. Kind of cool. And of course, Pulsechain merch. Some really cool stuff happening in there from Pulsechain store, which is pretty cool. Now, I just wanted to jump back here to Envious Crypto because I think we had, actually, let's go to my page. My page is probably a bit easier. I posted out all the promos here. So let's have a look at some of those. I just want to go back. Where am I going? All the way back here, I think. All the way down here. Yeah, we're going to start with Emmet Farm. So these are in the in the monster thread. You can see that there. Now, there was a bit of a linking issue this week on the Emmet farm. So if you're finding that, it's just because it was X platform, nothing else. Sometimes it has little glitches. So if you come across that, let us know. Emmet Farm Epic 1 year birthday celebration, of course, is here. We've gone through a lot of that with our update post, but they have got a giveaway on at the moment. I think it's still valid. You double check it. But the yields on Emmet Farm are crazy good. Look at that, 131% APR at the time of printing this on single side Emmet staking. So amazing there. You earn EDI. So you buy Emmet, stake it, earn EDI. Single side staking, so there's no providing liquidity to Pulsechain, for example. But then there is all these high APR farms with Emmet, and there's other farms that don't include Emmet. So just remember that there is a lot of different farm peers there, and they all have different APRs. You can see some of them are pretty spectacular. UFO Emmet, for example, 211%. VPulse from Vouch with Emmet 190%. And they've been doing crazy good with having elevated APRs, and now it's been 1 year. So pretty awesome stuff happening there. They got some new farms with Proof and ZKP. Of course, that new staking one there with ProofX, and they got some pretty high APRs. Now, typically, obviously, you have to look at the TVL in the farm as well to compare the APR, because it depends on how big it is and then what the allocation is. So just make sure you get that balancing factor right. Because you can affect the yield, of course, depending on how big the farm is, etc. But you can buy Emmet, stake it, and let the 4% volume fuel your EDI rewards. So a big shout out to Emmet. I would strongly suggest getting in the Emmet community. I mean, I've been in it for ages. It does have airdrops once you get registered. I'll just ask Kairos. Tell Kairos that you were watching Superman and you want to get registered for airdrops. You get tons of different tokens, all top tier tokens airdropped on the bot. You just have to be in the Telegram there and be engaged, and you'll go up the point list. You go up the point list, and you will get more and more airdrops over time. So that's something that suits you. Maybe some people that are new or small portfolios, that'd be really great. And of course, there's lots of giveaways too that you can participate in. Definitely one of the most active communities on Pulsechain, without a doubt. So big shout out to Kairos there, and join up to Emmet Farm on Telegram and follow on X. So that's pretty cool. You can see some of the cool imageries there as well. 2.2 million in Rhino airdrop as well. So partnering with some of their partners, amazing stuff. So big shout out to Rhino team there, and you can see their 1 year birthday. Isn't that cool? Got high yields. There's Emmet yield. Nice. You just have to provide LP into Pulsechain, and then take your LP tokens and then put it in the farm. Not for single side staking. No, you just have to buy Emmet and just stake it. That's it. That's much easier for single side staking. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. True Farm. We got that as well. So True Farm and Emmet Farm, they have been doing amazing. Obviously, kind of like a managed fund on Pulsechain in some ways. But the idea is they've got the 2x. I've got to say it right. 2x Pulse Miner, and then of course they have now got True Farm, and you can earn yield there too. And so it's pretty exciting what these guys are doing. So they are doing things different. So you can see it broken down here on the post. They are looking really to run a kind of a managed fund, and then extract all that value from farms and stuff like that, and put it into the miner and 2x your miner. It's kind of really cool like that. So it's a bit like a managed fund in my view, and it's about time Pulsechain had something like this. And they have a management team, and they sort of run it that way. So it's definitely a project that a lot of people like to do if they don't want to do all the decisions, and they can sort of set it on autopilot and double their pulse. That's kind of the idea there. Obviously, do your own due diligence, all that good stuff. But they're doing pretty amazing. I'd also jump into their Telegram. You got the True Farm there as well. Let's have a quick look at that, shall we? We often look at Emmet Farm, but let's have a look at True Farm. And you can go to the farm here, and obviously you can go to the homepage and start farming. It's the other way, but it's going to take you to the farm page, and they've got their own farm opportunities. They've got single side staking, just like Emmet. In fact, it's got an APR at the moment of 220%, and then they've got their farms that they have as well with some popular pairings, which is kind of cool. And it's still relatively early days here, so they've got a lot of farms that'll end up having. So big shout out to them for that. So have a good look through. Maybe some of those peers maybe holding tokens idle, and you could earn a yield there. So definitely something to think about. Now, remember, there's always the issue of impermanent loss in farms, so you got to take that into account as well. All right, so that is looking pretty good there from True Farms. We've got some pretty cool imagery too. So let's have a look at some of this. We've got the True Farm there diagram. We've got True Farms, Emmet Farm, Vouch, DeFi. Look at it all hooked in together with TrueX. So they're building out their own DeFi ecosystem on Pulsechain. Pretty awesome, eh? So cool image there. Highest APR and EDI as well, obviously with 220. Well, that's the truth. We've got the charts of Rhino. So Rhino's one of their partners, doing pretty well as well. Big shout out to the Rhino team. And we've got some cool videos as well. think it's got the whole video. Yeah, you got a new video there, so it's a promo video looking pretty good. So that is True Farm. Now, we've also got Vets in crypto. Now, Vets is here in the chat today, so let's go pick up Vets. He's got a couple of comments to make. Since he's here, we might as well talk about that. Where do we get up to here? We got up to, I don't know if we got up to Christos, but Christos is here. Good evening, Superman. Great to have you, Christos. We've got a big audience watching now, so I really appreciate everybody coming to enjoy the content of the show. If you are new to the channel, don't forget we are streaming on 3 YouTube channels. The Kryptonite Show, Pulsechain, X, Superman Crypto, so 3 YouTube channels, and also streaming on X platform as well for the Kryptonite Show. So if you are watching on YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell for future videos. If you're watching on X, go up to the top and hit the follow button. And of course, we are the largest Pulsechain influencer doing daily shows. So sometimes we do 2 shows or 3 shows even, but definitely doing daily shows at the moment. So if you love Pulsechain content, but you also want to get great coverage of Bitcoin and Ethereum, potentially Solana and X1 chain, then is the place for you to be. And of course, we're doing daily shows, so pretty awesome there. There are other influencers, large influencers, of course, do different formats. They might do 2 shows a week. They might do a whole ton of little clips. You know, like Somi does a lot of little clips. They might be like Crypto Coffee does cool little videos, viral videos. So there's lots of us do our own approach, and you know, it's great to have all that variety, isn't it, in the old Pulsechain. We've got Hero in the house as well. Hero is grateful for everybody's support and all military veterans and first responders. Big shout out. Yeah, well, we're about to talk about you now. Great monster thread, MVS, Crypto Coffee, and covered the monster thread today, which is fantastic, isn't it? That's so good. Up only from Sean. Good to see Sean in the house. Heroes in the house here says it was nice of Liberty Finance to acknowledge the Patias team on the whole Fit Hub open source. Yeah. They had a slight hiccup there, but it looks like they fixed all that up. Hero thanks the Rhino community for their continued support and adding Hero Rhino paired to their farm. Yeah, awesome stuff, eh? Rhino team's absolutely awesome. There's the Rhino protocol there. 28-day recharging and buy and burn, looking pretty good. We've got Hexavator in house. Hey, gang, good to see Hexavator. Banking industry has been the seed to most evils. Yeah, that's pretty bad, actually. As soon as you run into a problem with the bank, you'll quickly know about it. Triple Dad was out at the border wall in Yuma, Arizona on the hottest day ever at 180 degrees. That's crazy. So, yeah. We use Celsius down here, so presumably that's Fahrenheit. Otherwise, you'd be absolutely minced if it's Celsius. But yeah, you can see it's hot there where he was at the time. We got Pulse W Tao in the house there. Hello, gang. Good to see you, Pulse W Tao. Welcome. And what else there? When Superman utility token says zero. I don't know about that. And one of the few large, long-serving influencers that hasn't done a token. You know, you think about it from time to time, but you know, I'd have to have a really good use case for it. I have had a couple ideas that would probably suit pretty well, but you know, we'll see what happens in that space. We got here's to another year of Emmett. Yeah, absolutely, Emmett looking good. We're excited about their roadmap ahead. Worked on a 36-inch, Tucson to Mexican border in 2015, 60 miles in 66 days. That's crazy. Big shout there to Hexavator for that. That's hard work. Emmett the Bomb says Hexavator. Yeah, performing really well, isn't it? Hero says the DAO NFT art collection is all in the works at the moment. Small Hero LP farm are coming along with links to supporting farms and communities cross links. So that's pretty cool. That's hot off the press, guys, from Hero, which we're about to talk about now. And they got the DAO NFT art collection. It's all in the works. Exciting about that. Yeah, look, I think it's kind of cool doing that. And you got the Squirrel Swap at Pro as well. Yeah, in the house. So yeah, Squirrel Swap. I think I actually got hit up by him, Squirrel, earlier today about that. So I'll have a look at that. I might talk about that maybe tomorrow or the next day. All right, so let's get into Vets and Hero, a bullish DeFi supporting veterans and first responders. The VIC Foundation, so nonprofit, runs on a locked and loaded closed loop system designed to blast every single dollar straight into the treasury for unstoppable firepower and explosive growth. Every quarter, I said every month or something, I can't remember exactly, but every quarter, the DAO votes on one of 3 charities or grants, all hyper-focused on military veterans and first responders, crypto with massive heart and nuclear rocket ship potential. Insane farm yields, obviously, for Hero and Vets. They farming on Emma and True DeFi Farm. So you can definitely that, or True Farm as it's called, and they got high APRs. Look at that. Vets, Hero, both tokens, high APRs on both of those farms. And look at that. So definitely well worth checking out. And you're going to pick up some hero and vets, help with the first responders donations, and then of course also with the DeFi offerings there. Pretty awesome. You can find the hero token there. I think the vets is one there as well. I might look forward to that in the next one. So keep a look out for that. But some pretty cool stuff on Emmett Farm. That's where the farms are, IAPRs. We've got obviously some images of the US Marines there. Pretty cool. And yeah, Vets Heroes. I love it. That's great. Great picture there. Looks so good. And we've got the cool promo video there as well. You can watch also. So kind of neat. All right, so that is looking pretty good, guys. We also got some, obviously, the Kryptonite show in there as well. I love the image is always very different. Look at that. Pretty funny. It's supposed to be me. It's supposed to be me. We got the ZKP protocol, also from Chorus from Emmett Farms. So you buy ZKP, stake it, and earn ProoVex. So apparently 66 million ProoVex claims so far. And there's 105 million in the queue or something. So that's pretty good. 4.7 million ProoVex per day to participants. So that's nice. That will depend on volume, but I think it's got the same formula, 4%, I think, or 5%, something like that. You can also, they've got a new farm, by the way, on Emmett Farm. So you can also farm a high yield. Kind of cool. They got some cool pictures. Look at how it works. Staking pool statistics. Cool video. And some of the ProoVex, some of the pools there that you can earn high APR. Look at them. Damn high APR yields there. Pretty awesome. Awesome stuff there. So isn't this DeFi great? I mean, we've got, really top tier DeFi on Pulsechain with the high APRs. So if you like DeFi income, obviously you've got to take into account permanent loss and things like that that may or may not occur, particularly with non-stable coins. So yeah, you still got those. But man, just fantastic that we have that sustainable high offering APRs on Pulsechain. Pretty awesome. We also have some community trending and heating up fast. So we've got ProoVex trending. Big shout out to Richard Hart for the DeFi. We've got PTC, obviously big community on Pulsechain trending there with the first DAO token. And they do some pretty cool things with the yielding there. Prayer Banana there does a lot of cool work and is pretty bullish about where PTC will go along with UFO when Pulsechain reverses in price. So we go from a downtrend to an uptrend. We've got Peacock obviously building out some amazing stuff we talked about in length today. We've got the ZKX wallet coming, Liberty Lens coming. We didn't talk about that today, Liberty Lens. And then we've also got this new yield product as well. And they've got lots of other enhancements and upgrades and stuff coming, all at the frontier DeFi. We are really drunk with goodness there from the old LibertySwap. Zero as well, part of the trifecta. They're doing amazing. They're doing like over 10 protocols. So they've got working on their own DeFi suite of products as well. Very different kind of products from the Zero Trust there as well. Also tied into the LibertySwap with the old Peacock. So much stuff happening. And as Hero says, we've got Squirrel Swap out there too. See what I'm saying? Pulsechain, it's not mucking around, guys. It's not mucking around. We've got so many cool things happening. Really is cool. Really is cool there from the community. Look at all the people responding and engaging. Very, very cool to see that. Look at that. Lots of cool stuff from all the people there engaging with the monster thread. So some really good stuff there, folks, with the old monster thread. So definitely get into that. I'll post the link to the monster thread there. And you can go to obviously my profile or MVS there to see all the different promo posts in there as well. So monster thread, what's it, number 47? Can you believe it? It's shockingly good. All right, so this is perfect for sharing around to new people. So if you want to share Pulsechain around, definitely share the monster thread around. And we've got some of the top protocols in there as well, doing amazing jobs. So definitely get in on that. And if you're busy during the week, it's perfect to catch up on all the news. Honestly, you will not miss too much of a beat there with what's happening in Pulsechain. So very, very exciting stuff. Pulsechain's on the move, guys, building out. Very cool things happening and exciting times ahead. Now, one thing I will say is if you guys haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. If you haven't followed on X, do that. Now, we do have links to Telegram and Discord. If you want to join Strategy Club as well, which is our exclusive Intel club, you get all the best of crypto as I'm researching. I posted in there, so you'll be getting all the key things there around Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulsechain, etc. And of course, that's just over $1 a day to join up to that. You can see the QR code. You can join up through the Whoop store, or you can find it in the video description on YouTube, as well as pinned to the top of X there. You can see you go through the Whoop store, sign up, and then you'll end up getting a link that will take you to the Strategy Club. And you get all the hottest intel, and we have some great discussions in there as well. Very, very cool to see that. Hero says a great job to you and MVS for all the Pulsechain coverage. You're most welcome there. Hey, look, we're here every day, so we might as well help. Get out and help teams promote. Right, that makes a lot of sense. At least that's what we thought 47 weeks ago. Actually, we started a little bit earlier than that before that, but that's pretty cool. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're up to 2 hours. Can you believe it? What a mega show. I was only going to do an hour, guys. So 2 hours. We had a huge community watching right now. Really do appreciate it. Big shout out to all the people out there in the community of Pulsechain, Hex, and of course, far beyond that in crypto. Buy when there's fear, right? There's fear in the market. We've got massive volumes at the moment. I'm excited about the future. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulsechain, Michael Saylor, Tom Lee, Richard Hart, they're on the move. And we've got lots of other people in the community doing some huge things to create value and set us up for the bull market ahead. There's always that time in the future when the bull market's on that people look back and go, hey, look, I wish I had bought, but they don't. And so, that is definitely an opportunity there at the moment with the massive volumes. And at some stage, the price will be in, the low price will be in, and the glory will be held. Remember, Richard Hart is looking for Pulsechain season, not altcoin season, Pulsechain season there, and we're excited about it too. But man, we've got some amazing teams on the Pulsechain, haven't we? And we've got some amazing teams. We've got amazing teams doing liquidity forks, balancer forks. We've got amazing teams doing Aave forks. We've had those. We've got teams doing oracles, teams doing a lot of casinos, teams building games. We've got teams doing frontier privacy, teams doing frontier trading, unified liquidity. It's crazy, guys. Wallets, got teams doing wallets now. LibertySwap, Ramp now doing wallets. It is game on, guys. And we've got Richard Hart definitely on the move, lowering inflation. We're still shaking out a few weekends, but man, it's going to be exciting in the future. And we're going to be covering it all here on the Crypto Night Show. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hero says stop into the Telegram and say hello. Definitely jump into the Vets in Crypto if you want to help out with vets and first responders. Great protocol there. So big shout out to the team there. All right. I think that's it. Take care, everybody. Catch you guys again tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.